Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie. Now I will read an article. The first article is The Paradox of Technological Efficiency and Modern Society. In temporary discourse, technological advancement is frequently equated with efficiency, productivity, and progress. Digital tools promise to reduce human effort, accelerate communication, and optimize decision-making across sectors. However, despite unprecedented technological capacity, modern societies often experience intensified workload, cognitive overload, and diminishing well-being. This paradox raises critical questions about whether technological efficiency genuinely liberates individuals or subtly reduces labor and wise the amplify pressure and dependency. Historically, technological innovation emerged as a response to human limitations, from the machinations of agriculture to the automations of manufacturing. Tools were designed to reduce physical labor and increase output. In theory, such developments should have resulted in greater leisure time and improved quality of life. Yet empirical evidence suggests the efficiency gains frequently led to higher expectations rather than reduced demands. As tasks become easier to perform, institutions of respond the increasing volume, speed, or complexity, thereby neutralizing an indirect benefit of efficiency. In the digital age, this phenomenon is particularly visible in professional environments. Email, instant messaging, and collaborative platforms have limited spatial and temporal barriers to communications. While these tools enable rapid coordinations, they also blur the boundaries between work and personal life. Employees are increasingly expected to remain accessible beyond traditional working hours, leading to chronic stress and attentional fragmentations. Efficiency in this context becomes a mechanism for attending labor rather than minimizing it. Moreover, technological efficiency respects cognitive progresses. Algorithmic systems filter information, recommend decisions, and automate judgment. Although this reduces the burden of routine tasks, it may also erode critical thinking and autonomy. When individuals rely excessively on automated systems, they risk losing the capacity to evaluate information independently. The confidence of efficiency thus counsel a potential decline in human agency and reflective reasoning. The paradox is further complicated by economic incentive. In competitive markets, organizations the fail to adopt efficiency-enhancing technologies rise obsolescence. Consequently, efficiency becomes a normative standard rather than a strategic choice. This compulsion fosters a cycle in which technological adoption accelerates, regardless of its social or psychological consequences. Individuals must adapt continuously, often without adequate institutional support or ethical considerations. Addressing this paradox requires a redefinition of efficiency itself. Rather than measuring success solely in terms of speed or output, societies must consider sustainability, human well-being, and connective integrity. Technological tools should be evaluated not only by what they enable us to do faster, but also by how they shape our values, behaviors, and relationships. Without such reflection, efficiency may remain an illusion that promises liberation while delivering constraint. The second article is Cultural Memory and the Constructions of Collective Identity. Cultural memory plays a fundamental role in shaping collective identity, functioning as a shared reservoir or narrative symbol and interpretations of the past. Unlike individual memory, which is rooted in personal experience, cultural memory is socially constructed and transmitted across generations through language, rituals, education, and media. It provides communicators with the sense of continuity, legitimacy, and belonging, while simultaneously influencing how societies understand themselves in the present. At its core, cultural memory is selective. Societies do not remember the past in its entirety, rather than emphasize certain events while marginalizing or forgetting others. This process of selection is rarely natural. Political interests, power relations, and ideological frameworks often determine which histories are preserved and which are silenced. As a result, cultural memory can serve both as a tool of cohesion and a mechanism of exclusion, reinforcing dominant narrative while suppressing alternative voice. National identities offer a clear illustration of this dynamic. Foundational myths, heroic figures, and commemorative practices are commonly institutionalized through monuments, national holidays, and school curricula. These representations foster unity and shared pride. Yes, they may offer simply complex historical realities. By representing the past as a coherent and morally ambiguous narrative, cultural memory can absorb internal conflict, injustice, and contradictional. In the context of globalizations, cultural memory faces new challenges: increased mobility, digital communication, and transnational media force expose societies to multiple and often competing historical narratives. Migrant communicators, for example, may maintain memories that differ from dominant national histories, creating layered identities that present singular divisions. This plurality can enrich cultural dialogue, but it can also provoke tensions when established narratives are questioned or destabilized. Digital technology has further transformed the productions and correlations and correlation of cultural memory. Social media platforms, online archives, and virtual museums democratic access to historical material and enable grassroots participations and memory making. However, they also accelerate the spread of missing information that fragments collective attentions. The abundance of digital memory doesn't guarantee depth of a story. Instead, it often favors immediacy and emotional resonance over critical reflections. Understanding cultural memory as an active and constant process process is crucial for navigating contemporary identity debates. Rather than treating memory as a flexible inheritance, societies must reduce this personal responsibility and shape how the past is interpreted and transmitted. Inclusive and critical engagement with cultural memory can foster dialogue, promote historical accountability, and support more pluralistic forms of collective identity and in an increasingly interconnected world. The third article is Climate Anxiety and Psychology of Environmental Awareness. As scientific evidence of climate change becomes increasingly conclusive, public awareness of environmental risks has intensified. Alongside this awareness, a growing physiological phenomenon known as climate anxiety has emerged. Climate anxiety refers to chronic various distress or helplessness associated with the perceived inevitability of environment degradations. While not classified as a clinical disorder, it represents a significant emotional response to global ecological uncertainty. Climate anxiety is particularly prevalent among younger generations who are confronted with projections of long-term environmental decline. Unlike immediate threats, climate change unfolds gradually, making it difficult to conceptualize an emotional process. This temporal ambiguity often produces a sense of powerlessness, and individuals struggle to reconcile personal action with the source of the problem. Resolving, reducing, and compassion of adopting sustainable lifestyle might feel significant when contrasted with industrial emissions and system inactions. Psychologically, climate anxiety reflects a tension between knowledge and agency. Increased access to scientific information and change understanding of environmental risks. Yet it does not necessarily provide clear pathways for meaningful interventions. This imbalance can lead to emotional paralysis, characterized by avoid denial or disengagement. In some cases, individuals cope by distancing themselves and from environmental discourses altogether. Despite acknowledging its importance. However, climate anxiety is not inherently detrimental when accompanied by social support and constructive outlets. It can motivate civic engagement and collective action. Research in environmental psychology suggests the emotional such conquer and fear can catalyze pro-environmental behavior if individuals perceive their action as socially support and political relevance. Thus, the psychological impact of climate awareness depends largely on contextual factors rather than information alone. Educational Institutions play a critical role in shaping this context. Environmental education, the emphasis system solution, collective responsibility, and political participation can transform anxiety to environments. By farming climate change as a social challenge rather than individual burden, educators can mitigate feelings of isolation and despair. Moreover, integrating emotional literacy into climate education helps individuals resource and manage their responses more effectively. effectively. Ultimately, climate anxiety reflects a rational reaction to an unprecedented global crisis, rather than dismissing it as irrational fear. Societies must address its underlying causes through transparent communication, inclusive policymaking, and meaningful opportunities for participations. By acknowledging the physiological dimensions of environmental awareness, it becomes possible to foster resilience, the sustained long-term engagement with climate action.